Hello and welcome to another episode of Vegas Valley H2O, the show dedicated to exploring water here in Southern Nevada and our collective efforts to conserving this vital resource. I'm your host, Danielle Basilio, and as the temperature rises, it certainly feels like summer is upon us. And with hotter weather comes our summer watering restrictions. We'll get to that soon, but first we have a packed episode talking all things summer and how you can be a smart water user here in Southern Nevada. In this episode, we have valuable tips on summer watering practices to optimize your water usage and keep your landscape healthy. We'll also dive into the initiatives by the Southern Nevada Water Authority and Las Vegas Valley Water District to ensure the consistent delivery of safe and reliable water to your tap, not just in the summer, but throughout the year. And we hear your comments on social media about golf courses and water conservation. Not everyone thinks those things go hand in hand. Stick around, we're going to address your concerns and misconceptions. First, let's talk some summer watering. From your irrigation system to even the time of day you water, all play crucial parts in managing water responsibly as a community. We've got some tips for you on how to water effectively during the dog days of summer.
As we soak up the summer sun here in Southern Nevada, whether it's hanging by the pool, hitting the hiking trails, or enjoying backyard parties, here in Southern Nevada, water is the heart of our enjoyment. That's why I'm here with the Southern Nevada Water Authority to guide you through our summer watering restrictions. As the temperatures rise, it's crucial we all do our part here to conserve water. Here's what you need to know about our summer watering restrictions. Firstly, in summer, you can water up to 6 days a week, but you shouldn't need to. Trees, plants, and most grass can survive and thrive with less water. The key to efficient landscape watering in our sweltering summer heat is to water at the most optimal time of day. Summer watering restrictions prohibit outdoor watering between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., the hottest time of the day. Watering during the early morning or late evening hours helps reduce evaporation and ensures your plants get the most benefit. The type of irrigation system you're watering with matters too. If you have a drip system for plants and trees, only water 2 to 3 days a week. They need much less water than grass. If you have sprinklers for grass, water for a maximum daily total of 12 minutes. Try running your sprinklers in 3 short cycles about an hour apart. This will help you to avoid runoff and water waste. And no matter your landscape type or irrigation system, we never water on Sundays. The summer here in Southern Nevada is also no stranger to monsoon storms. When we do get rain, make sure to take advantage of the free water coming from the sky and turn off your irrigation systems for several days. Your landscape doesn't need excess water. And remember, overwatering your landscape or leaving irrigation leaks unfixed can result in a fine. Preventing water waste is crucial to safeguarding our water supply. If you spot any water waste in your area, report it promptly to your water provider or via the LVVWD app. For more tips and tricks on smart summer watering, visit SNWA.com.
One reason why we do prune, and we should be pruning before monsoon season, is to eliminate a lot of the dead wood, cross branches, and also competing branches on the tree. So it doesn't cause structural damage when the wind blows and you get the heavy rains during the monsoon seasons. There will be 3 basic tools that you would need. Pruners, the loppers here will be for a much larger branch, and then the saw would be for even bigger branch. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of this crossing branches here. As this branch gets a lot larger, it's gonna hit this and we're gonna cause a lot of rubbing. So what I'll do first is I'll get my pruners, and there's a flat side here and there's a side that's got a lump in it. You always wanna go with the flat side up against it. That way you don't leave a stub while cutting. As I cut, there you go, and that's a nice cut here. So these are your loppers here. Unlike your pruners, they've got a flat side and they've got a side to stick out. So we'll use the flat side with a bigger branch and go ahead and snip it there. And there's your cut on that one. Okay, we want to use the saw for a much bigger cut, so I'll start cutting this limb here. And they're just light strokes going back and forth. I'm holding the branch just so it doesn't tear and rip the bark. So this here is a drought tolerant tree also. It is a red push pistache, and I don't know if you can notice by the pictures, but this tree has really been trained and was pruned when it was very young to give you the shape that it has right now, and that's one reason why you do early pruning. So this particular limb here is growing into the canopy of the tree. What we'll do is get rid of this limb so that it won't cause damage to the inside of the tree and rub marks. One of the common mistakes that I see that homeowners make is over pruning and over watering. What I would do right now is get a smart controller, because this time of year, if it reads a certain amount of moisture in the ground, it shuts off by itself. The second thing I would do if you don't want to invest is manually water, possibly once or twice a month. When it comes to mature acacias, mesquites, and palo verdes, they really don't even need a lot of water. They're very drought tolerant. Another common mistake is getting rid of all the foliage in the inside, making that tree heavy, lion-tailing it, and when the wind comes, it falls over. Be proactive. It's okay to prune, but just try to only prune 25% of the canopy per year.
We used to only read meters by literally walking out to your property once a month, opening up that meter lid box, and the amount that was consumed between the last read and the most recent read would determine what your overall consumption was for the month. But about 15-20 years ago, we incorporated a technology to these meters, which is called an N unit or an ERT, that actually is recording that data for us. And we used to drive by within a distance of your property, and it would send that information up to our vehicles with those antennas, and it would download that consumption data onto our computers. Our field technicians would come back into the office, plug their computers in, and we'd have all of your data. With those ERTs, we had the option that we could always convert them to what's called AMI, and that means it would send that data to us remotely. It was necessary for us to go through a very long process of working with the city, county, and NDOT to partner to put receiving mechanisms, repeaters, on different streetlight poles to be able to receive that data from your meters and then transmit it back to us here at home base. We can still capture that data through a drive-through mechanism, but why when we can get that data sent to us daily? And that smart meter is actually recording usage on an hourly basis. Available now through your Las Vegas Valley Water District My Account. You'll be able to see this daily amount of water that you use for the last week or even up to the last 3 weeks. That information is going to be available at your fingertips. Now, I want to make one disclaimer to that, is that it is a snapshot in a moment of time that you happen to log into your system. So for example, if it's a Saturday and you log in and you haven't seen your data for Wednesday or Thursday or Friday yet, it might be because there might have been something blocking the signal. We haven't received that signal yet. So one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to send a vehicle out to actually receive that through the remote read, or we'll wait till the obstruction's out of the way and then that data will be uploaded. So if you don't see a certain day, or if it looks like you're missing a random day, check back in another couple days and that information will be there for you. Now, all of this information is just one of the many things that goes into calculating what your bill looks like. The purpose for giving you that data is so that you can visually see how you're doing with your water use. A lot of people like to see, did I do better this year than I did last year? And that information is also going to be available for you as well, much like what you see sometimes with your power bill, where you can see, how did I use this month versus this month last year? This is all just one of the many steps that we are taking to be able to put all of your data and your abilities and your knowledge in your hands so that you can understand your own use at your house and how to make the best adjustments to keep yourself water smart.
Hello everybody, my name is Savannah Murinchek and I am with the Southern Nevada Water Authority, and today I am going to talk you through our pre-site inspection process for the Water Smart Landscapes rebate program. So the first step in this process will be going to SNWA.com and applying for the Water Smart Landscapes rebate program. From there, we will give you a call to set up what is called a pre-site inspection, to take a look at your grass area and take a few photos. So the next step in the process is, once we set up the pre-site inspection, I will come out to your property with my iPad and measuring wheel, and what we will do is basically take a few photos of your yard, whichever conversion area you plan on doing, front or backyard, and then I will take a few measurements as well. One important thing to remember before we come out is that we are looking for living and maintained grass areas. We do not rebate for dirt or unmaintained turf areas, so it does have to be living and maintained before we come out to your pre-site inspection. So after I have taken measurements and photos, that is pretty much all you need from me. If a homeowner is home though, I do like to discuss our program requirements, which are mainly you have to have a 50% canopy coverage, low flow drip irrigation systems, and you have to put in a permeable layer of mulch. If a homeowner has any further questions about that though, they can always visit SNWA.com. All of our program requirements are listed, and there is a wonderful plant search tool that helps to achieve that 50%. And that is kind of all we do at the pre-site inspection, and you are on your way to receiving a Water Smart Landscapes rebate. Here at SNWA, we try to make this process to convert over to desert-friendly landscape as easy and efficient as possible. So go ahead and give us a call or apply online at SNWA.com. And from there, we come out, inspect your property within a 5-minute inspection, and you are on your way to getting that rebate. We do encourage you to apply now, as there is a $5 incentive for the rebate, which has increased from $3.
We're moving indoors briefly to escape some of that summer heat, but did you know that reliable water delivery is a year-round endeavor for the Water Authority and Las Vegas Valley Water District? This includes preparing and maintaining water treatment facilities, pumping stations, and other critical operations during periods of low water usage to meet the high demand during the summer months.
Here at the Southern Nevada Water Authority in the Las Vegas Valley Water District, we are one of the most reliable systems internationally. And we take pride in that, and one of the things that we have to do in order to make sure that that's the case is we have to maintain our equipment. We go through an outage season that basically spans from November to April, where we take individual facilities offline to do work. Some of these outages can be very minor and only affect a very small part of the system, whereas other outages can be very large and take whole treatment facilities down. And so this year we're working on about 111 of those outages to ensure that the work that we need to do is completed. The reason we do it in the fall is because our demands are far lower and we have a lot more flexibility. In the summer, when our demands are higher, we want to keep all systems go so that we can maintain that very high level of reliability. And so I want to give you a few examples of projects that we're doing this year during our outage season. We're going to be working on the Boulder City lateral, where we're going to do some pump replacements and also some pipeline inspections. We also are going to be taking each of the 2 treatment facilities down, the Alfred Merritt Smith Water Treatment Facility and the River Mountains Water Treatment Facility, to work on filter projects, electrical upgrades, chemical tank replacements, and a lot of other work. And what's really great about that is we spend quite a bit of time coordinating these outages with our purveyor members to make sure that we are well coordinated and they go off without a hitch. We've also drained the Pittman lateral so that we can do some valve inspection and valve replacement. We're also working on SCADA upgrades. And so SCADA means Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System. And it's basically the brains behind the process. It tells all the valves when to move, and it gives commands through the operator that allows the system to operate effectively and efficiently. All of this work is planned and coordinated and executed behind the scenes. So everybody listening to this video that wants to continue to take a hot shower can do it, because nobody ever knows that it's actually even happening.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Hernandez. I'm a distribution system crew leader at the Las Vegas Valley Water District. I work 8 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. and our main goal working overnight is that when you go to sleep at night, you have water to turn on in the morning. Distribution is just another way of saying we're the construction crews that maintain the 6,500 miles of water pipe that runs through southern Nevada. We do a variety of jobs overnight. Mostly we do installation and maintenance of valves that control water flow to your business or home, but we also repair any leaks. Working overnight is one of the critical ways that the district ensures that water outages are to a minimum. Working overnight lets us work on larger buildings, larger properties, and it also lets us work on the bigger streets, so it lets traffic flow smoothly during the day, things like that. On this night, we're beginning a retrofit of a backflow, and all that really means is we're bringing a backflow above ground. Right now, this backflow is in a vault, which is pretty much an underground compartment that has a backflow unit installed. The backflow units are the units that make sure that no contaminated water enters the potable water system. So all we'll be doing is bringing it above ground. The first stage of this project involves excavation and potholing, which just means we're digging in the ground to make sure that there's nothing that could run in our way, whether it be power or gas. I really enjoy my job. I find it very rewarding. I personally really like the scope of the work. I enjoy the type of work. I think it's really neat. I think it's really cool. It gives me a chance to use my brain, but also feel a little physical. And one of my favorite parts is that when people wake up in the morning, that they have water because of the work I did.
So in addition to the distribution crews that work on our pipelines overnight, my name is Dan Glatz, and I'm a distribution system operator, and I monitor the water supply overnight. So my shift runs from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning. These are critical hours for us to move water throughout the Las Vegas Valley, from the pump stations to the reservoirs, and ultimately to you, to the customer. We're inside what's called the SCADA room at our Valley View headquarters, and these screens are our eyes. From this room, we can see water quality around the clock. We push the water where we need it to go to make sure that we meet the water needs of every customer. This is especially true in the summertime, where we can move up to 450 million gallons of water each day. That's when the demand is at its highest. We can even monitor small bodies of water like golf course ponds. Here's Canyon Gate, for example. And that's what the Water District does overnight to keep our water flowing safely.
And that's what the Water District does overnight to keep our water flowing safely.
The Centennial Reservoir and Pumping Station is just one of the many projects included in the Las Vegas Valley Water District's Capital Improvement Plan. This particular facility, while one of our smallest sites to date actually, consists of a 5 million gallon reservoir and a 38 million gallon per day pumping station. And within that pumping station, we have 5 vertical turbine pumps, each capable of producing over 7,000 gallons per minute, actually closer to 8,000 gallons per minute. This particular reservoir and pumping station is critical to the northwest part of the Las Vegas Valley. It serves as additional storage for everybody within a pressure zone that we call the 2635 zone, but it also boosts water up to that next pressure zone, the 2745 zone. A pressure zone to us is, generally speaking, a change in elevation of about 150 feet. So if you imagine if you start off at, say, the airport and you need to go visit your family over in Summerlin, you are actually driving uphill in elevation, and we have several pressure zones. So if you looked at our entire valley, from north to south, from east to west, our valley is broken up into pressure zones as we change in elevation throughout. And within those pressure zones, we move water north and south in those pressure zones, but we can also pump water up to the next pressure zone or reduce them back down to lower pressure zones. Our entire system is interconnected, and that gives us strong reliability throughout our community. Our infrastructure is truly connected. In fact, all of us are connected by our infrastructure. And all of this serves that northwest part of the valley, which allows for additional storage, redundancy, fire protection, and domestic use for all of the customers that are already living out there, as well as allowing for the continued growth within the northwest part of the Las Vegas Valley, including the most recent 500 acres that the Bureau of Land Management released to the development community. This particular pumping station and reservoir was not something that was easy. It was actually planned for a very, very long time, put on hold kind of during COVID and so forth. And then right as we were coming out of COVID, we released that contract. The overall general contractor for the project was MMC, but they did not do this alone. It was actually the work of 37 different contracting companies to be able to put this together. And to kind of give it in a little bit of context, unlike most places throughout the United States, you don't see our above ground water tanks, water towers that you might see within, say, the Midwest part. We have the luxury of elevation within our Las Vegas Valley to be able to achieve the pressures that are necessary to get that water to your tap. So all of our reservoirs, for the most part, such like this, are below ground. And in that, it is consisting of almost 8,000 cubic yards of concrete. That's a lot of concrete. And over 801 tons of reinforcing steel are necessary to be able to put this humongous glass of water below ground. And that is here to serve you. It's necessary not just for everybody within the northwest part of the valley, but we're able to backfeed and move water in and out of our pressure zones, again, providing that redundancy for everybody on that part of town. This is just another critical piece of infrastructure that all of our system is connected to, and it's providing you safe and reliable drinking water at the drop of your tap.
In Nevada, the golf industry is one of the Silver State's largest, employing over 10,000 and providing more than $1 billion of economic activity every year, according to the Southern Nevada Golf Association. Golf is based on grass, but in this case, it's the functional grass for recreation that tens of thousands of locals and visitors enjoy. Leave things to many social media commenters, and they would ban golf completely, leaving a lot of people out of work and some golfers angry.
Oh, here we go.
See that? All this to save a small portion of our water resources, about 5% annually, on par with resorts and casinos, while 60% of our water supply goes to residents, largely for outdoor use.
Golf courses manage water better than most places around the world.
Tom Blinkensop oversees 3 golf courses in the Summerlin area: Red Rock Country Club, Arroyo Golf Club, and Sienna Golf Club.
We started over there with 142 acres of turf. It's about 72 now, so we removed 70 acres of turf over that 22-year span or 21-year span.
Blinkensop has been in Las Vegas long enough to remember the days of overplanting grass 2 decades ago when there was no water shortage to today's conservation-first mindset.
We want to water when we need to water and not overwater, and we analyze that daily. It's not like we're just saying, okay, every day, like the homeowner, we'll water 3 days a week, 3 times a day, and that's what we're going to do. Now, if it rains, we're shutting water off. If it's windy, we might have to water not that day, but a little bit more the next day because it dries it out. But we're analyzing that every day. The superintendents do a great job. They go to school for this. They're agronomists.
Golf in Southern Nevada has made major strides to reduce turf and overall water use, much of it voluntary. By removing and replacing more than 900 acres of grass with desert-friendly landscaping, or approximately 40 million square feet, golf saves over 2.2 billion gallons of water alone each and every year.
So when they first started doing it, of course, there was some pushback because it was new, and anything that's new gets some pushback. And then over time, you can see that this area is not playable at all. It's off to the, the left side of a tee box, and it was more aesthetic, and it was just a visual thing for the golfers and the homeowners to see a lake or some grass there. So over time, that's where we picked areas that were not in direct play for the golfers, and then the homeowners have slowly accepted that that's where they live in the desert, so we're going to have some desert landscape, and the desert vegetation will slowly take over.
There's been additional restrictions placed to push golf courses to manage water even more effectively. Today, listen up, social media commenters, today, new golf courses are prohibited in Southern Nevada. Also, courses are held to strict water budgets that were cut by about 1/3 in 2024. If a course exceeds its budget, it will pay major penalties. For Blinkensop, the steps his courses have taken haven't changed demand for play. Golf's popularity has only grown since COVID, but his actions have helped with reduced maintenance costs and a better bottom line.
It's half. I mean, our bills went in half, our water consumption's in half.
So that's a tremendous amount.
In the game of golf, conserving water isn't just a stroke of luck, it's a terrific strategy, ensuring a sustainable future for Southern Nevada's greens and golfers alike.
Who doesn't love a pool in Las Vegas? Generally the person that's got to take care of it. However, pools are often the culprit for leaks around your property. When most of us think about a leaking pool, we imagine the cracks in the side or the bottom, and that is sometimes the cause. However, more often it's either the pool refill system or the drain system. Let's talk for a second about how to know if your pool is the problem. While there are some sophisticated ways, there is a simple solution to show us if that is it. First, close the pool refill valve. It could be a couple different places. Sometimes it's by the pool motor. In this yard here, it's right by the hose bit. To close it, turn it clockwise. It's now in the off position. There's no more water going through the autofill. With this shut off, there should be no water coming into the pool. But wait, if the pool level is going down, couldn't it just be evaporation? Good point. Here's how we tell the difference between the normal amount of loss to evaporation and a leak. Grab a bucket or other vessel, no glass please, and put it on the top step. You may need a heavy rock to hold down the bucket. Then fill it exactly to the same level as the water line. Set an alarm for 24 hours, then come back to see if the water level inside the bucket is the same as the outside. If it is, the problem isn't leaky plaster or the drain valve on the bottom of the pool, and you've either eliminated the pool as a suspect or it's your pool refill valve. The refill valve can often be heard if it is stuck open. Keep in mind that this test is harder to do in the summer because of evaporation rates. To isolate the refill as a potential cause, you'll need to shut off the indoor supply and irrigation supply. With everything shut off, check your meter and see if the triangle or sweep hand are moving. If there's water flowing, it's likely your main supply line rather than your pool. If nothing is moving, go turn the pool refill valve back to the open position, then check the meter again for movement. If the gauge is spinning, the pool refill valve is almost certainly the problem, in which case, it's time to call a pool professional.
2, 3.
Today we have our partners with NFL Green and Verizon and the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians out here volunteering for Shade Tree Lane. We're planting drought-tolerant trees from the SNWA plant list and hundreds of other shrubs and succulents.
We've done 4 different projects here at Springs Preserve as part of NFL events, Pro Bowl, the draft, and Super Bowl. And this has been one of our favorite locations because of the historical significance and the environmental significance of Springs Preserve. So today we're planting a limited number of trees, but it's really a demonstration to show drought-resistant plants and the impact that even just a small planting can have in an area in terms of bringing the temperature down. And that's exactly what we're working on today with all these volunteers out here.
We could not do this at all without our volunteers. Our volunteers were here on site in the past week prepping the site to make it easier for those to plant.
This experience has just been great fun because it's a collaboration of just so many wonderful corporations and entities.
What I've really enjoyed this time is doing something different on the volunteer sector here. And then later on, later on in the year, we'll be able to come by here and say I planted that garden, I helped in that garden, and a little bit more pride there for me.
I have had an incredibly wonderful life, and as I retired, it's now time to give back. So everybody in the world can accept volunteers, but why not be in the absolute garden spot of all of Las Vegas? And that is the Springs Preserve.
We always need volunteers. Come out and help us.
What a great story, seeing so many volunteers involved here at the Springs Preserve. I'm actually walking through Shade Tree Lane, that place where they just planted all those shade trees and plants. And though it's not fully grown yet, with the proper watering and care, this will be flourishing in no time. And you should definitely check it out for yourself. That's all for this episode. Remember to stay water smart this summer. We all have the responsibility to work towards a sustainable and water secure future. Thanks for watching this episode of Vegas Valley H2O. We'll be right back here with a new episode in the fall.